kind of root for Jonah Hill's character, like to like get through and to do everything. And the character arc sort of amounts to him shooting off someone's penis in the end. Like that's how.
When they actually dive into the character movements of it, they are very, very solid in nature. It's not like they are doing it for the sake of it. You can actually see the heart behind it.
That's hefe, man.
Yeah, we are not kidding. We are not kidding.
We're definitely keeping that. Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of the Geek Life Podcast. Let me get this out there. It's night time. I don't need sunglasses.
They don't know. They don't know that we know that they don't know.
Oh. Again, welcome everyone to a brand new episode of the Geek Life Podcast. Today, as you probably learned from the intro, we'll be talking about the Jump Street movies. 21 Jump Street. It's both 21 and 22. Like the logo is just 21, but I was too lazy to put one more logo.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what we'll be talking today. So if you find that topic intriguing, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and also, if you're interested, do follow us on Instagram as well. We have lots of cool stuff there. So yeah, that's it. So today we'll be talking about the two Jump Street movies, and we'll also be talking about a little bit about the future of the franchise. I mean, there wasn't much of a future, like it kind of stalled, but
Bro, have you seen the ending of the second one? There's
yes.
tons of it.
But yeah, we're talking about Jump Street because it's apparently the 10-year anniversary of 22 Jump Street this year. So that's why we thought we'll pick up on Jump Street. If it's not the 10-year anniversary, it's just because we like talking about this movie.
Yeah, exactly. The whole reason we started this podcast was like for the Jump Street one is like Manoj's first line was to me to get me in the podcast was like, okay, we are doing a Jump Street podcast one day. Okay, are you in or not? I'm like, you goddamn right, I'm in.
Yeah, and I mean, we did a lot of rehearsals for that intro bit, which just lasted for 5 seconds.
Very professional. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's it. So we'll straight jump into the first one, 21 Jump
Jump
Street.
into Jump Street, huh?
Yes, we're jumping into
Right,
Jump
am I
Street.
right?
Yes, but yeah, just one side note I wanted to add. A couple of them, as always. We are also available in audio platforms like Spotify and Amazon Music. If you want this podcast for some reason to be in a different platform, let us know in the comments and we'll sort of figure that out. Like just submit the RSS feed somewhere and
Yeah,
get it
anywhere
running.
we can get at least one or two views.
Views,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
We'll take it, man. We'll take anything at this stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also, so right now what we're doing is we're sort of doing throwbacks to movies that came out a long time back. Because it's fun, it's fun talking about older movies. But if you have any topics that you would like to be discussed in this podcast, do let us know. And yeah, last week we had Nona. This week is again just me and Jay. So it'll keep flickering out. We'll try to bring more of the IGS squad into this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Then we'll jump into Jump Street, the first one, 21 Jump Street. So 21 Jump Street, directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. It's about two police officers who have to go undercover into a high school to infiltrate a drug deal, a drug ring, basically. And that's it. That's the hilarious premise. It stars Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. And it's based on an old 1987 television series starring Johnny Depp, who also makes, which I feel is the greatest cameo ever in this movie. In 21 Jump Street, yeah. But Jay, should go ahead.
Man, as I said in the beginning, like Jump Street is just one of those comfort movies which you have to revisit every year because it's just so much fun, and they just don't make movies like this anymore. I don't know if it's like I'm getting old or whatever it is, but I can relate to that quote so much because there have been so many movies which you love and you just feel like it just got faded away with time and you just cannot feel it. But boy, do I love this movie. Every single thing about the first movie pretty much worked. And
Yes.
when you break it down on a level, it's like we have seen so many, character driven movies where the character has given a second chance to either redo something or like go to the school life, college life, or revisit something. There have been so many rom-coms. But when you put those two characters together and with the backdrop of, in the R-rated and just a ridiculous thing, it just, the result is like Jump Street, and it's just so much fun. I can just cannot get into,
I
more.
think so. I watched the original 1987 one,
Oh,
just the
okay.
pilot episode, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
That too, just the first one. It's apparently like a two-parter. I just watched the first part. Like, but it starred Johnny Depp, a very young Johnny Depp. In that, and the tone is very different from this. The tone is
Okay.
more on the point of. I just got a WhatsApp message. I'll just close
Yeah.
that. The tone is very different. Like it's very earnest. It's very sincere. It's very dramatic in a way. Like it's more darker and it has that 80s slow vibe to it. Like it's very slow paced and but
Okay.
it's a product of its time. But it's fun. But I don't think that treatment would have worked for the 2010 generation
Yeah.
basically. And I think what they did, taking an R-rated movie and like what you said, put filling it with this very comedic take and just putting it together, but also having a very earnest story about these two police officers,
Yeah.
Jonah Hill's character and Channing Tatum's character, and sort of the arc both of them go through. Like like
True.
I think even the flashback scene, they sort of established that one was a nerd, the other was kind of the cool kid, and through the undercover mission they sort of have to do the opposite. They have to live opposite lives.
Yeah.
Like the nerd, the Jonah Hill has to become the cool kid, and Channing Tatum has sort of understands the beauty of just being a nerd in high school and just learning different stuff. And I think that combination and the arcs they go through, and even like personally, I think being kind of a nerd, like you kind of root for Jonah Hill's character, like to like get through and to do everything. And it the character arc sort of amounts to him shooting off someone's penis in the end. Like that's how like that's how
That's
insane.
basically those two movies in a
Yes,
nutshell. Like,
that's how insane the first movie is. But first of all, I don't think taking an 80s property, retooling it, and having it star Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, this should have not worked. Like
yeah,
by
nothing about this movie makes sense on any level, but somehow, it like works perfectly well within the realm
yes.
of what they were trying to develop, and it's just like unbelievable to watch it. Especially the cast which you mentioned, I didn't even realize till
So yeah, like you have.
she was Brer
I mean,
Larson.
yeah, Brie Larson is in this,
Yeah,
and
I just never realized.
you have Jake Johnson, the new girl, the guy who also voiced Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse
Oh,
series.
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
You have him as the principal in this. You have I forgot his name, the captain, not Ice Cube, the other one
Yeah.
who's like the deputy director, like
Ryan
he's
Swanson.
yeah, he's there in
Hey,
Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Recreation.
So
I
like
told him not his name, but the character's name I remember.
yes, and you even have Aaron from The Office, and
Bro, the reason when you were telling me about all this, like when you started the point, na, like the cast is like so diverse. Immediately remember Aaron and the scene with Channing Tatum. Oh my God, don't leave me, please. I'm gonna die. Don't leave me, God. Like she's so amazing and such, quirky
oh.
character. Yeah.
And even like I think the character I don't remember her name, but the character of Kathy from The Office, uh, she was very briefly there in The Office.
Wait,
She
yeah, I remember Kathy.
she's there
Oh,
in yeah, she's there in Jump Street, like as one of Brie Larson's friend. Like
what?
yeah, she's there in the limousine in the end in the shootout.
Ah, okay, okay,
She's
okay,
because I
okay.
was seeing, I'm like, you look so familiar.
Oh my God, yes, 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 yes. And here also she is playing a certain character. Like, tell me about it. Tell me about character.
Oh, but I think what works in this is that obviously like they have a great cast, like like insane cast, like we are not even going to talk about how good Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum are and their partnership, the
True.
bromance, like that came out of nowhere because I was not aware they were even friends before, like before this
Yeah,
movie,
same.
like and I've not seen anything outside of the Jump Street series
Yeah.
to suggest they're close friends, but this really worked so well. And I think even the improvisations, because you can tell that a lot of lines
Yeah.
are improvised, and I think that sort of attributes to the direction style of Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Like because after the Jump Street movies, once they sort of became those big directors, so mainstream directors, they were brought in to do solo, and they were fired because they were
Wow.
improvising too much, and
Uh,
then they were brought to do the Spider-Verse movies, which are amazing. But even in that, we don't know how true it is, but we heard there were a
yeah.
lot of rumors that the animators were overworked because they kept changing things. So I think this is the kind of project that suits their directorial style, where they can
Yeah.
keep changing stuff, kind of kind of be on the go with the comedic timing and the scenes and everything. But
Definitely, yeah.
I think so many good comedic scenes in this. I think we touched briefly upon the limousine chase, but for
Yeah.
me, my favorite chase scene is the sort of driving school car versus the bikers, and how they keep switching cars, and they keep expecting stuff to explode, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
And the one they think will not explode explodes. Like,
The most grandest way possible, and I'm like, you, and that's, that's the fun part of the movie. That's what's unique about it, is like it just shit on every mark, like mainstream Hollywood big action gimmick,
yeah,
whatever it is, they will call it out, and they will call it
and
out
they will
till
do
the
it. Then
very
they
end.
will do it also.
No, they even double down in the sequel.
Yeah,
Every time they were mentioning ki, oh, they just raised the budget for nothing, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna work for the sequel, right? Yeah, it's like they're putting things to destroy it. It's like, and I'm like, you dude, that's
I,
so good.
I just realized, not to undercut your point, but we didn't even mention Dave Franco. Like, he's also there in
Oh,
the. It's such a
that's the
big
thing. They're
cast.
like so yeah,
I
because
feel like they were not so big at the time of the movie, but
yeah,
now when you watch it, you're like, oh my god, this guy is there. This guy is there. It's like an insane cast. Like, I think that's so great. And I forgot the guy who plays the head coach, the sort of the PT teacher in the fitness teacher, like, who's
yeah,
behind the drug ring. And like,
yeah.
he's
Oh,
also hilarious. I mean, he's done many movies. He's also done Modern Family in a small role, like, as the rival realtor to Phil. But like, I think amazing cast, and like some of his lines are like hilarious, and especially the scene where they get into the drugs, and
yeah.
like.
And he's like just putting and that's such a gross scene, but it's like, oh my
And
god, man, that's
Jonah
so
Hill is like, he's like dancing in the track, like.
he threw the baton. He threw the fucking
And he
baton.
throws everyone's baton also. Like,
He threw the baton. Like, where do you get that, bro?
oh man,
Where do you get that?
21 Jump Street is amazing. But I think now it's a good time to segue into the second one, 22 Jump Street. A
Yeah.
little bit bigger movie. Okay, before that, the best cameo I think from Johnny Depp also. Again,
Definitely.
one more star cast who's in this. Like, and I just want to say one side note about Johnny Depp, because one thing about this, I think the screenplay, it's not like extraordinary, but it's very well paced. It's very well written. The arcs of the character are very well written, and it all amounts. Even Johnny Depp's cameo is not a throwaway cameo. Like, it
Yeah.
actually provides some resolution to the story. Like, he tells about the meaning of friendship to his in his dying breath to his partner, and that kind of really sort of like it amounts really well to the true theme of this film, which is about friendship, about looking after a friend. And I think like it
And
gave a
then
lot more weight to that cameo.
yeah, and immediately after that, you have Jonah Hill rolling off sofa in slow motion is the most hilarious
And he's
sequence.
just, like, Jonah is like, the Channing Tatum is like, let's get them. He's like, let's
Yeah.
make a baby. He's like, what?
I don't know. I wanted to say something cool.
Something cool. I want to say something cool. With that, we can come to the second one, which is a catch line for
Yeah.
the second movie. I think definitely a slightly bigger movie. It's not even though they kept joking that it's a higher budget
Yeah.
movie. Actually, it wasn't. It was just, it
Oh,
was
okay.
slightly budgeted high, but not as much as we think. Like, I think the first one was 50 million. This was like 60, 70 million. So it was
Oh,
kind
that's
of in
not
the
much
same
of it.
ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about millions, like, we just like, yeah, it's just lying over there.
Bro, I work with Rock. What are you talking about? I see millions.
Yes.
Yes.
Good that you
yes,
didn't. I would have forgotten. Every episode we need a reference to The Rock.
Yeah. One day he's gonna come to our podcast and say, see, we finally brought him. You guys thought we were messing around, right?
He'll be like Jay, right? Jay from Geek Life,
Yeah.
right? I don't forget a face. I don't forget a name. That's Jack Black imitating The Rock in that clip. But yeah, enough rambling around. So 22 Jump Street, I think, is it's a very good continuation of the first one. I think you will never retain the freshness of the first one. It's just that
Of
unique.
course, yeah.
But I think they did very well in sort of expanding the story, and a lot more development for Channing Tatum's character this time around than Jonah Hill's character. I think, which is the right way to go in a sequel. You
Exactly,
develop the
yeah.
other character. And it's almost the same story, which even they acknowledge, but they even say it's not the same thing. Like, I think the twists they make in terms of the story, like the whole drug ring and all, like the small subtle twist that works, and just the whole character arc that Channing Tatum goes through, even
Yeah.
because Jonah Hill was more of a coming of age, sort of finding his own purpose and finding his police officer in him. Channing Tatum goes through a slightly different arc where he's like exploring his career outside of being in the police force, and that's actually dived more into, like, in the first movie it's just dived little into with Jonah Hill's character.
Yeah.
Like, there's just, I think, one dialogue where he says that I might be a doctor out of this, like, something like that. But here he actually, they explore that very well, and I think Channing Tatum had a lot more to do in this movie than the
Definitely.
first one. Not just the comedic aspect, but that's one thing I really like about these two movies. The comedic aspects are really crazy, but
Yeah.
whenever they talk about the emotional arcs and all, they actually are pretty earnest to themselves. Like, I
You
think that's
know,
pretty cool.
one of the scenes, or I don't know if it was an intentional message or not, but towards the end of the second movie, when, like, Channing Tatum, like Jenko's, decides to stay in the college and continue to go
Hmm.
through his scholarship and
Football, yeah, yeah.
everything. Yeah, and he keeps doing the same thing over and over again, and they are working out and like, hey man, you want to do something other than workout, and soon he realized ki the age has passed and he's not the same person anymore. And
Hmm.
as I said, I don't know if it's an intentional message, but that's such a right message to tell, like, especially our age, because we have this, tendency to romanticize our past, like, oh
Yes.
man, things were better there, and but it's like, for better or worse, we have evolved,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And we cannot keep chasing those same things.
Yeah.
We have to, because even if we get all those things, it won't be the same anymore, because
Right.
you
Right.
are a changed person. So, just like you mentioned, ki, the comedy is like one thing, but when they actually dive into the character movements of it, they are very, very solid in nature. It's not like they're doing it for the sake of it. You
Hmm.
can actually see the heart behind it, and that's just what makes the sequel work for me, to be honest.
Yeah, and the ending, we have to talk about the
Oh
ending,
my god,
where they
yes,
just
yes.
show, like, it's such a, so I read this somewhere, I don't know how true it is, that the initial
Okay.
cut of the movie had them quitting the Jump Street this program, which kind of makes sense because you did it two times and
Yeah.
you're already pretty old to start with, to be
True.
high schoolers
And
and
they
college
even,
kids.
Jonah even said it, towards the end,
Yeah,
man, we are getting too old. It's like, dude, we started it when we
too
were old.
old.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
So, like, it kind of made sense that they would quit the Jump Street program and everything, and maybe they were probably like, we don't have much ideas more than this. But
Yeah.
apparently, the test audiences hated that idea of them quitting the Jump Street program. So
I
then
can
they
understand.
changed the ending to the whole sequel dumb thing. Like,
Okay.
like making Jump Street into a cash cow, making fun of themselves, and
Yeah.
showing so many Jump Street movies. It's amazing.
My favorite bit is like, like, when they replace him with Seth
Seth
Rogen.
Rogen, yeah.
And Channing Tatum was like, hey, bro, like, they replace you, and then in the next movie Jonah Hill appears again, and Django asks him, ki, wait, you were gone. That was like, he didn't even acknowledge it. Ki, no, I was not gone. What character contract?
What contract
And
disputes?
yeah, and I was like, see, these are the things. They went double down on the first one, and this is like he called everything out about the sequel.
Right, right. I
I
think
love it.
that was it. But do you have a favorite one though? Obviously, though, there was one called 2121 Jump Street,
Oh,
which like in the end they show 2121 Jump Street, and they show them in space, and there was that apparent rumor of Men in Black and Jump Street crossing over for a Men in
okay.
Black Jump Street movie, and that never happened, unfortunately. So I think that would have been really cool, but that only would have been cool if it was Will Smith and
Yeah,
like it was the original cast and like the Jump Street
definitely.
brother. Like if it was someone else, I don't think it
And
would
yeah,
have
wouldn't
worked
have.
at all. But
Yeah.
there are so many, so I'll just run it through quickly.
Okay.
So 23 Jump Street Medical School, 24 Jump Street Foreign Exchange Students, 25 Jump Street A Semester at Sea, 26 Jump Street Art School, 27 Jump Street Culinary School, 28 is Veterinary School, 29 is Sunday School, 30 is Flight Academy. Flight Academy would be kind of cool. It'd be like Top Gun kind of ish.
Yeah, and like, coming to the Sunday school, it's just hilarious the way they use both the churches in the first two movie. First one is like Korean
Yeah.
Jesus, and then it's like Vietnamese Jesus. And like, man, Jesus don't have time for you. Get the fuck out of here. Excuse
I
me.
think 31 Jump Street Flight Academy, if you have a cameo with Tom Cruise,
Oh,
it would
bro.
be
Yeah, that
so
would
good.
be,
It
yeah,
would be epic.
seriously. And
So,
I think there was a bit. Okay, I'm like distracting,
yeah,
getting sidetracked, but that's our common theme. So I guess
obviously.
like
Yeah.
people get, yeah. So in one of the Conan skit, what happens is like he has to do a skit with Tom Cruise, and people are expecting he will do something grander or ridiculous. All he just does is like
Driving.
drive, and he just drives. And that's what I wanted. Like if it actually happens, like in nothing. Whatever you expect. Oh, you are expecting Tom Cruise to do all this? Nah, He's gonna sit on a wheelchair and that's it. That's
I
literally.
think Tom Cruise would be down for it. Like
Yeah, he
I
would
think he
be.
would be down for it. But yeah, what else? You have Ninja Academy. That'll be like if you have Jackie Chan come in and
Yeah.
all the Karate
We
Kid
can have
actors, the
we can
Karate
have the
Kid.
rush
Oh,
hour.
Rush Hour and Jump Street
Yeah,
crossover. Damn.
bro, we need it. Come on, we need that.
Then you have Fireman School. We have Jump Street Generations where they brought the original cast for the
Oh
cameo.
yeah,
Then you have Return of the Ghost, the Ghost. Then you have where you have Traffic School. Dude,
yeah.
Traffic School needs to be set in Bangalore. 36 Jump Street Military School, 27 Jump Street School per class, 38 Jump Street Dance Academy, 40 Jump Street Retirement Home,
Yeah, I want that. That should be
41
the last
is 41 is Magic School, 42 is Beauty School, 43 is Mariaki School, and 21 Jump Street.
one in
So
space.
yeah, that's
You know what? Just one thing I wanted to add. Like, I think it was in the second movie, Channing Tatum mentions ki, man, what if he keeps going like this and we get into Secret Services one day? I think if they have, I don't think this is gonna make like with those two characters again another movie. But
yeah.
if they make it, like I think that
Like
feels
you
like
can have like a Trump president.
yeah, something like something crazy, like something wacky. Because they've done school, they have done college,
Yeah,
or
in
they
White
can
House.
yeah, something. Yeah, exactly. It's like their own way of dealing terrorism, and I don't
Oh
even know what's gonna happen. It's just a crazy thought to even process.
man, I think it's very surprising though that they didn't really go ahead with because there were plans for a female like female crossover movie with Jump Street also.
Oh, okay.
Then like as I said, the Men in Black crossover, or even the medical school one, which medical school would have been really fun. I think like them both in medical school, like being
And
doctors.
in culinary one was the like we had Bill Hader,
Yeah, Bill
right?
Hader showed up in the
Yeah,
culinary one,
that
and
would have been so cool.
one more tidbit about the art school one is that the clip they showed with Jonah Hill like sort of being all goth and turning like his hair,
Yeah, yeah.
that was actually an actual clip that was supposed to be in the start of the movie showing Jonah
Oh,
Hill's experience of joining college, and they sort of cut that
okay.
because it was maybe too similar to the first one. So
Yeah,
and it was not really relevant. It was not required.
yeah, actually.
So because the first one was more of Jonah Hill's story, but the second one I feel is more of Channing Tatum's story. Like that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, it's very surprising that they never really pushed for a sequel. Like even the Hangover, like because like I thought something like a Hangover 3 would have probably happened, which is not a good thing. Like
Yeah,
but these two movies have a combined budget of about like 120 million, and the box office gross is up I think above 500 million combined.
that's
I mean, so
great,
it's
right?
very good return on investment, and these are not the most expensive movies to make also.
Yeah.
So kind of would think that they would probably make one, but they didn't, and I don't see anything in production even now. So it's kind of disappointing. But now I think the actors are grown too old, so I
Yeah.
don't think we can see this. But I know like I would love a reboot. Like I would
Yeah.
definitely love a reboot.
If only these guys are working closely with the project, if Jonah Hill again decides to like just write it, or maybe Jonah Hill and Seth Rogen together, they want to
Yeah,
do something, that would be really cool. Unless
and I
other
want
than
them to
that,
cameo in it. Like,
definitely, bro. Yeah,
and I
we
want
need that.
Ice Cube can return though. That would be hilarious as the captain.
Or what would be like more Jump Street style? It's like they replace Ice Cube with Kevin Hart,
That's
and
also
he's
funny.
supposed to act like Ice Cube all the time, and the audience cannot take him seriously, right? And he just have to be very
And
serious about it.
last, you can have like a cameo from Ice Cube where he's just meeting him.
Yeah,
Kevin Hart meets Ice Cube. But I think, especially now in a time where movies are not doing as well,
yeah,
and the outlier is usually these buddy cop movies. Like Bad Boys is doing amazingly well. Like, and you have good buddy cop movies that have not done well, like The Nice Guys. Like,
and
it's an
you know
amazing
what,
movie.
bro? I just so the our first episode was Bad Boys, right?
Yeah,
And the movie came out and it did exceptionally well.
yeah,
Okay. The second movie we did podcast on was Inside Out, and it's on the
exceedingly well.
verge of
Yeah,
being like $1 billion.
yeah.
So hey, am I
They
am
should
I
definitely
wrong?
do a Jump Street sequel.
Yeah, come on. Whatever we are touching is gold. Okay, yeah, it's a common pattern here. Come on. What
So
are
I
we
mean,
doing?
I think John Krasinski can breathe easily because we're going to do a Quiet Place episode next.
Oh, nice plug in, nice plug in. I like.
So but yeah, I think I hope they do a sequel. Sorry, a reboot but
Yeah,
maintain the original timeline, continuity, and bring these actors
definitely.
back for cameos. Reboot it with some young actors. I think that would be cool. Bring maybe a different director, because I think a fresh directorial voice. I mean, Phil or Chris Miller are great in this, but I think a fresh directorial voice will always help. And I think it'll be cool if they're attached to this project as producers, maybe, or
That's a must for me. That
that
has to
should
be.
definitely happen. But yeah, yeah. As I said before, next week we'll be doing the a ghost episode, a horror episode, quiet place. So you know what? We'll do something crazy. I mean, I don't know how many people will see this, but if you have any horror stories, supernatural stories that happened to you that you think are kind of weird, share with us on our Instagram. You can just DM us there, and we'll read it in the episode. Like, I don't know how many of, like, I know very few people make it till the end of the podcast, so I'm
Yeah.
not expecting anything, but I'm just putting it out there just in case. So
Yeah,
I think, yeah, that's it. Do you
I'm
want?
definitely not looking to that episode. I'm not the one
I
for
have
that.
one story to share.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear anything about it. So yeah. But yeah,
Uh,
that's for the next episode.
yeah. Do you have anything else to say about Jump Street? Dude, I forgot to say this. The music, absolutely amazing.
Oh
Both
yes,
movies.
thank God you brought it up. I
Both
almost
movies.
forgot about that.
I think,
So
I
actually,
think, forgot the music director's name. I think it's Marks something. I
okay.
forgot his name, but sorry, just the theme. Amazing Jump Street theme. Like,
Yeah. And
that,
I've been humming it ever since, I watched it, and it's like such a catchy and such a heartfart as well because
yes.
you know the emotions behind it, and it
Right.
just works every. So
But
yeah,
even the selection of the songs, everything is so catchy. Like, I
definitely.
see. I always like the Party Rockers song. Okay,
Yeah.
like I always liked it. But when they played it in the 21 Jump Street movie, like with the slow motion and everyone just having
Yeah.
fun, dude, it works so well. I'm like, yes. After that, I became like an insane fan of the song. Like, I'll just listen to it in loop. It's such a nice vibe. The song is such a nice
Yeah,
vibe.
exactly. Yeah.
Like, we can't play it here. I can't even sing it because I'm such a good singer that we'll get a copyright notice from
Definitely.
YouTube.
And we don't even earn anything to be taken away.
So yeah, I think that's it for today's episode. Let's know in the comment section what you thought about it. If you made it this far, it's okay if you don't. We're still testing things out, so it's okay. And yeah, that's it for the episode. That's it from me and Hefe.
Yeah.
Keep geeking out, guys.